those close losses, and we're getting better.
Comment from Matthew. Coach Haith, how have you been able to become such a strong recruiter in the NYC area?
Uh, where we just targeted some guys that, in Malcolm's case, who was a young man we recruited beforehand, and held good relationships there. And obviously Duran, we really worked. And I was born in New York, and Coach Fernandez has done a good job in that area too. And Coach Morton, who recruited Malcolm. It's just an area I wanted to target from a recruiting standpoint, because I think there's good players in New York as well as in North Carolina. And those are two areas that I'm really associated with in terms of born in New York and growing up in North Carolina.
Comment from Brian. Coach, do you have any more Jimmy Grahams on your team?
Uh, Not quite on our team, but I think Jimmy was a unique player. I think Jimmy was very aggressive. He grew as a basketball player, and he bought into his role. Um, you know, a guy that could have a chance to be that kind of player would be Raphael. In terms of just learning, he's got to learn a little bit more about the nuances of the game, but he has a chance to be that kind of player.
Comment from 305 Hoops. Coach, what is the talent level of high school players in Miami, and can you win with them if you just recruit South Florida players like football does?
I think obviously the football in South Florida, tradition-wise, is tremendous. I mean, there's so many great players here in South Florida. Um, I don't think it would work that way for us. I mean, there's good talent here. I've seen it get better, but I think what we must do is get the best players here, and which we've done. I mean, you go back to Dwayne Collins, the Brian Asberries, Adrian Thomas. We got to recruit all the top guys, and I think that's will help us, and that's our foundation of recruiting is here in South Florida.
Comment from the Sergeant Major. Who is your hero? Who do you model your life after?
Um, my hero. I don't know if I got a hero. There's several people that I look up to, and I mean, it all goes back to coaches. I grew up. I moved down south when I was very young, and raised by my grandmother. So my biggest influences were my coaches, and as I got going in profession, people that I worked for. So I look up to people like Ned Poole, who was my high school football coach, Mike Tolley, my basketball coach, and I think a guy that I'm real close to, and I really talk to quite a bit, is Rick Barnes.
Coach from Lou. Where do you see Reggie Johnson's potential? I'm thinking next year he'll be a beast.
He better be a beast right now. Reggie's is really developed. He's gotten a lot better. Reggie's as good as he wants to be. I think he has a chance to be special. The biggest thing with Reggie is his conditioning and his willingness to buy in completely to being a great player, and that commitment is going to be there for him. He's got to show that he wants that this summer, and being here all summer is important. Getting his diet corrected, and just pushing himself a little bit more, because all the physical tools are there for Reggie. His footwork, his hand-eye coordination, his skill level, his ability to shoot the ball. He has a chance to be special, but I think if he gets down to about 280, and I don't know that Reggie's seen 280 in about 10 years, but if he gets down to about 280, he has a chance to be much more mobile than he is right now, and the ability to get up and down the court a lot better.
Comment from Jeff. How are the transfers doing in practice, and what can we look forward to them doing next year?
I think that's a great question, Jeff. Kenny KG I think, has a chance to be terrific. Obviously, he's got to be more consistent with all aspect of his life, and when I say that, I mean just being consistent with staying focused. But his talent level is off the chart. I mean, he can shoot it, he can pass it, and he's got good size. But he's there's a lot of things he's got to continue to work on. But he's practiced well, and Trey McKinney Jones. I mean, that people haven't talked about him a lot, but I think he's been outstanding in practice. You can attest to that. I mean, I think Trey is been our most consistent guy, and a lot like the guys we've had here to transfer, like Malcolm Grant and Jack McClinton. Trey's had that kind of year where at times he's taken over practice. So I think he's going to be both those guys are going to be a tremendous addition.
Comment from Chad. Have there been any talks about Chantrell Henderson playing basketball? Can you imagine him and Reggie in the paint?
There would be no paint if he and Reggie were in the paint. Yeah, I don't know that I can imagine that, because I think he's probably a first-round pick in the NFL. So, but I have seen him play, and he can play. So if he were decided to play, he could definitely play this game in this league for sure.
Comment from Go Canes 14. Coach, who is the most coachable on the team?
Well, I think the wonderful thing about our club is that we got all our guys are coachable. I don't know that I have a guy that I can say is more coachable than the other. I think we have a team that responds well, and you look at losing 4 games like we lost on the last possession, and having our guys come back and win 4 out of 5, it tells you that we have a team that's coachable and that buys in. So I don't know that I can pick out one guy over another. I think we just got a really good team that responds well to coaching.
Comment from Brian. With the spotlight that the U is in, do you feel this program is 1 or 2 successful seasons away from turning into a perennial top 25 program?
Well, that's the goal. I would want to be a part of that and have that kind of success here at the University of Miami. Do I think we have potential to do that? Absolutely. There's so many things that, in terms of from a selling point,